Hi, everybody. It's Kay, and welcome to Black Readers Con. We're so glad that you're here with us this evening. I have two great guests with me tonight. My co host, Summer, had to take the night off to celebrate her son's birthday. So, happy birthday. And we are going to have a great time tonight talking about books. But before we get started with books, I want to tell you a little bit about Black Readers Con Conference that is coming up this year in October. It will be October 28th through the 30th in New York, and it will be virtual. So get in where you fit in. Either buy the tickets and come to New York, or you can join virtually. Either way, we'll be so happy to have you. Don't forget also to follow Black Readers Con across all social media. On Twitter, we have great live events on Twitter on Monday nights, and Instagram, great programming on Wednesdays, and here on Facebook and YouTube on Saturday evenings. Now, stay tuned to Black Readers Con and make sure you follow us because some of our scheduled programming may change a little in the future, and we don't want you to miss out. But thank you all so much for being here. So today, my guests are Teresa and Tammy, and I'm so glad that they could be here with us. Hi, Raymond. We're so glad that you're here this evening to join us. So, Teresa, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I'm so excited you asked me to join UK. I've been following you on Bookstagram. I enjoy all your reels. I've been following everyone else, and I enjoy this platform so much. I am 52. I live in Maryland. I am a mom of one son who's 28, and I have an 8-year-old grandson. And I live alone. I read all my books, and I just cuddle with my kitty cat, Miss Foxy.
Nice, nice. So, Tammy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, good evening. Thank you for having me. Let's see, I live in the Midwest in St. Louis, Missouri. I am a librarian, as they say, or a library associate is the term that we use for St. Louis County libraries. I've been a librarian since 2013, and I love to read. I just got married about 8 months ago. I don't have any children, and I read all the time. And I take books with me. So I love reading. It just brings me so much joy. So yeah. So I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you both so much. So Tammy, this is the end of National Library Week. So can you tell us what your library did this past week? If you had any special programming or events for National Library Week?
Well, what we did was we had a Spirit Week. So for the employees at our branch, we just did different things every day. We had Cookie Day, we had Dress Up Day, and we just did those types of things. We put up our displays at the beginning of the month. So we had an autism awareness display. It's National Brunch Month. So we had I put up a brunch display. And so we had, it's also National Poetry Month. So we have magnetic poetry all around the library. So you can put up we had little magnetic poetry in the teen section. So you could, put a poem up using magnets.
Nice.
And so they sent all of us snacks one day for National Library Worker Day. So that's really what we did at our branch.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I love the library. I believe in patronizing the library. I belong to 3 different counties. And I know that there are other people who have more than 3 cards. We're not going to name names, but some people are in double digits. But
Yeah.
I belong to 3 different library
Mhm.
systems, and it is interesting to see what the different libraries have to offer in
Mhm.
terms of services. But yes, people, patronize your local library,
Yes,
especially
yes.
those of you who are avid readers. Don't complain about how much the books cost when your
Mhm.
library is down the street,
Right,
and
that's
all you
true.
have to
Exactly.
do is get a card and
That
check
is
the
true.
book out, right?
That is true. Yeah.
Okay, ladies. So I do want to get to know both of you a little bit more. So, Teresa, tell me a little about your favorite genre of books,
Oh
if you have a
wow.
favorite.
Um, let's see. Do I have a favorite? I read everything. Um, so I guess my favorite would be probably historical fiction and thrillers.
Mm.
Ah.
But I do read all the genres. I read fiction. I read a little bit of nonfiction. I've started reading more over the last few years.
Hmm.
I've read some horror. Um, I'm starting to get into science fiction a little more.
Ooh,
I
okay.
started fantasy,
Mhm.
but I love historical fiction and thriller are probably my 2 favorites.
Okay, I love a good thriller. I mean,
Mhm.
Yes.
what about you, Tammy?
I read everything too. But I love historical fiction, nonfiction. I read a lot of nonfiction. I read a lot of self-help. I don't hear people talk
Mm.
about that, but I read a lot of
Mhm.
self-help. But I think in romance. So I read across the genres, but historical fiction is my favorite.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, speaking of historical fiction,
Mhm.
Black Readers Con right now, it has a read along of the book Yellow Wife by Sadiqa
Mhm.
Johnson.
Mhm.
And next Saturday, April the 16th, 8 p.m. Eastern, we will have a midpoint discussion on the book right here on Facebook and YouTube. So, for
Mhm.
those of you who have already read the book, or if you're reading along with us, please be here next week. It's going to be a great discussion.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. And so, Teresa, are you a poly reader or do you like to read one book at a time?
Well, I used to read one book at a time, and then the pandemic changed that.
Mhm.
So now I'm a poly reader.
Mhm.
I changed because I would be in the house reading, and then I'd want to get out for air, and I started exercising and walking, and I found that I was missing my
Mm.
characters.
Mm.
So I decided to start listening to more audiobooks.
Yeah.
Mm.
So then I would just switch back and forth. I'd have an audiobook going and a paper book. And then next thing you know, I had 3 paper books and 2 audiobooks. So I'm a poly reader now.
Mm.
Tammy, what about you?
Ooh, that's a good one. I might be reading one book at a time, but I'm skimming other books.
Okay.
So I guess I can say I'm a poly reader, but I really focus on one book at a time. But I may skim, oh man, 5 or 6 other ones. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Is
I'm like Teresa, I miss my characters too. So yeah,
there,
yeah.
is there a particular author who's an auto buy for you? Like you don't even have to know what the book is about. They published a new book and you're like, oh, I got to get it.
Uh Beverly Jenkins.
Beverly Jenkins. Oh,
Beverly Jenkins. Yeah,
what?
automatic. Automatic. I automatically have to get it. Automatic, just automatic.
I
Her
Mm.
feel
and
like I'm the
yeah.
only one who hasn't read any Beverly Jenkins.
Oh my
You
goodness.
know, maybe I read some a long time ago and don't remember, but I'm going to revisit her because I
Yes.
really remember.
Yes. Oh
Teresa, I
yes.
think I'm in that same boat with you. I know I have read, and I know I have at least 1 or 2 of her books here in this house, but yeah, we're in that boat together. We might need to correct that at some point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That romance, historical fiction, and
Mhm.
romance together. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's
See, I'm not
excellent.
much
Yeah.
of a romance reader, but hanging out with
Oh.
Summer, my co-host, I'm like, okay, Summer, I have to read a romance book now because she loves it so
Mhm.
much.
I'm telling you, read a Christmas romance. When Christmas comes around,
Mhm.
that's how I started. I read a Christmas romance every year. Just,
Oh,
just, just. I like romance, but I read a Christmas romance every year. That's how I started. And then that's when I started reading more. But I read the Brenda Jackson. I think she comes out maybe with a Christmas romance every year, every other year. I've read that one. And that's how I started with the romance.
Oh, so we have a few poly readers in our chat. We have author D.L. White, who is a poly reader.
Oh, yeah.
We have Classy, who is part of the executive team for Black Readers Con. She is also a poly reader. And for those of you who have come in since we started, welcome. I have two great guests this evening. I have Tammy and I have Teresa, and we're going to talk about some throwback books tonight. These
Yes.
are books that were published back in the day. We call it Pre-2K, but I have a couple of cheat books that may not have been pre-2K, but I felt like they were important enough that I needed to bring them here tonight. Right now, we're just taking some time to get to know these ladies. They are avid supporters of Black Readers Con. They're always present in the lives that Black Readers Con has. And so I thought it would be great to have them on tonight to speak with me about this topic. My co-host Summer is celebrating her child's birthday and couldn't be here, but she's with us in spirit. So, Teresa, do you look at a book and get intimidated by the page count like I do? Oh no,
Not
okay.
at all, because my first really big book that I ever read and I was a little intimidated by was Roots.
Oh.
And that book was so easy to read, and I was surprised. I mean, it's difficult because of the content, but the way he wrote it was so easy to get into that I was just flipping the pages so fast. And next thing I know, I had read 1,200 to 1,400. That's a long book. And then ever since then, I was never intimidated. And then when I started reading Stephen King books, his books are really big too.
Yeah,
so now it never intimidates me. The size doesn't matter because I've read 1,200 pages, 1,100 pages, 14. So it's funny you asked that question because everyone talks about love songs, and I'm like, no, it's only 790 pages. It's nothing. Look, I've read double that size.
I don't read books that are that long. Okay, I loved that book. It's almost like I nestled in with it. Got so comfortable. I love the characters. Uncle Root was my favorite character. I say that over and over.
Yeah.
But there was something about that book that felt like home.
Yeah.
It just felt right,
Yes.
And I didn't mind. I actually did a hybrid of reading and listening to the audiobook.
Oh.
The audiobook is 30 hours long. And it didn't feel like it. I don't know what in the world she did, but she did something.
I don't know. That's now my favorite book. One of the highlights for me as a bookstagrammer last year was that I got to be featured on Oprah's book club page.
Oh, nice!
And that is the book, because they asked us, like, what is your favorite Oprah book club pick? And I immediately, that was my favorite. I, sent them a picture with me holding it, reading it. That book just felt like when she says she wrote that for Black women, that's how I felt reading it. And I hadn't even heard her say that yet. So it, like you say, it just does something to your spirit and your soul. And I just love that book to death. I haven't done the audiobook yet, but I'm going to reread it and do the audiobook next time.
I think I'm going to do the audio.
Yeah, I like the audio. I did. What happened to me, I started the audiobook and then I had to turn it back into the library because of course it was so long, right?
Yeah.
Then I got the book and I said, oh no, I got to find, so I went to another library. Another library.
That's it.
And got the audiobook. Or I had to put it on hold or something. But anyway, I finished the book. I loved it. And that is one of those books I will not let anybody borrow.
No.
Never.
Nope.
Never.
No, I will tell them, you know what? There's this place down the street that you've already paid for with your tax money.
Dollars. That's right. That's right.
We call the library. Go.
Yeah.
Go.
That's right.
Okay, but tonight you're going to share with us some of your favorite books from back in the day, pre-2K. What a great time and era for literature. I mean, that is when it just seemed like there was this big boom, right?
Mhm.
Back in those days where all these authors were coming on the scene and everybody was just reading again, frivolously. And oh, I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I can't wait to see what you all are going to share tonight. Like I said, I have a few, but I want to see what you ladies have brought to show us. So Tammy, let's start with you.
Okay. All right. So I have a list, but I have a few books here. So I'll start with one of my favorites. Benilde Little, The Itch.
Oh.
It is signed back in the day when I used to go to book signings. So I got a signing. It's from '98. So it's one of my favorites. The characters, it was so rich. Reminded me of Whitley Gilbert from A Different World. And I just loved it. So I love The Itch. And I love Benilde Little. So yeah. So it's from '98. So I went in, my mother went and helped me dig these books out of her basement. So yeah.
I read that.
You read that? Okay. Yeah. So my next one is I missed the Valerie Wilson Wesley, Dying in the Dark, the Tamara Hale Mysteries. Oh,
yes.
I'm gonna revisit that.
Oh, I love her. Love her. Valerie Wilson Wesley has some new books out, but these, oh my goodness, I love these. I didn't read too many mysteries, but I really and since then I haven't read many mysteries, but I love these. So I believe this one is 90. It was in the 90s, 94, 90, somewhere in the 90s. But I love Valerie Wilson Wesley.
Before you go on, slow down. It's okay. Slow down a second.
Okay.
I'm so excited, y'all. She was taking over the book. I wanted to show this one.
Oh, yes.
I have that one.
Yeah.
Yes, good hair.
Good hair, yes.
And a lot of people don't realize that the movie that played on Netflix starring Sanaa Lathan is based on this book series. It is a series. I'm not sure how many books are in the series, 3 or 4.
3 or 4. I'm not sure.
But so when I saw you pull her up, I was like, oh, I'm going to show that I've got good hair. Okay, Teresa, let's see a couple of yours.
Okay, so the one for me that is probably my favorite from the 90s is this book. I just remember reading this book, and this came out in 1992.
Yep.
And I remember thinking, wow, I had never read anything like this before. 4 Black women, girlfriends, sharing their life experiences. And like Kay said, I feel like this book, in my opinion, was the one that kicked the door down.
Me too. I agree.
On what we now know is contemporary Black fiction.
Yes, I agree.
So, and I've read this book probably like 5 times, maybe.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's probably my favorite from the 90s.
Yeah, it definitely sparked.
Yeah, I know I'm moving around. I had my Terry McMillan to show, and I don't know what I did with it.
I have mine to show, but it's not that one. It's not that one.
Well, I had this one when it first came out, right?
Me too.
And over the years, like I had both of the ones you guys just showed, but over the years, I had to purge so many books that I had to get rid of a lot of books. Yeah. I recently found this. This is a first edition. I found it in my used bookstore for like $10.
Wow.
And this is the very first one. So I wanted this version of the book, but they have some new covers that I might invest into. My other favorite is, and this came up yesterday, Kay, on Friday Reads. My Soul to
Keep by Tanner Reed Dew.
by Tanana Reeve Dew.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This book is one of my all-time favorites. It's a book one of a series.
Okay, I don't have that one.
And let me see. I have book two, but book two didn't come out until like 2000, maybe 2001. These are so good. Oh my God, I love this series. Book one.
I wasn't thinking of that book being paranormal, but I guess it is.
It's, well, you know, she is like, they kind of classify her horror, science fiction, fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's why I was kind of in my mind. I was putting her in sci-fi horror, but
Even that's not that scary though.
No, it's not. For some people, it may be.
Yeah, this one's not. It's really good.
Good
this
House
one reads more like a mystery to me, a suspense or a mystery. But then it goes down the line and gets a little more fantasy.
Yeah.
So I'll just start with those two, and we can go back to Kay.
Okay. All right, Tammy, what you got?
I got a one-hit wonder.
Okay.
Please, Please, Please by Renee Swindle. Yeah, I read this one, and I tell you, I haven't seen anything by her.
I don't think I read that one.
Yeah, I know it's. I tell you, 1999, and I haven't seen anything else.
Swindle. Okay.
Swindle, Please, Please, Please by Renee Swindle. Here she is on the back. I haven't seen anything else by her, but I enjoyed it. And it's almost like a romance. It's a lot, you know, wedding bells, broken hearts, humor, wisdom, love affair, gossiping. Yeah, but I call it a one-hit wonder because I've never seen anything else by her. But I enjoyed this. Yep. So
okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Do I go again or do?
Go ahead.
I'll go again. Okay. I could not. I gave someone my Waiting to Excel first edition, and I never got it back. So my Terry McMillan is How Stella Got Her Groove Back.
Oh,
yeah. I enjoy Terry McMillan early books. I haven't read any of her later books because I found the writing to be snappy, kind of choppy. But I enjoyed her early books. I haven't really read anything of recent, but
I've read probably all of her books up until the last one. But what I found that somebody else brought to my attention was that her early books are her better books.
They are.
And as she got older, her characters got older. And even though we got older as well, the last book was about women who were in an age range of like 65 to 73. I'm like, no, I'm not that. Yeah, I'm not relating to this yet. So her earlier books are definitely her better books.
Yeah, they are. I agree. I agree.
Her first one.
Oh yeah.
Even though this is not 90s, but you know, her
first one. Yeah.
And I have that too, and I was going to show it, but again, I must have left a stack in the back of the house. I was going to show Mama and Disappearing Acts.
Oh yeah, right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And I agree with you. I was recently in North Carolina and traveling home. Before I got on the road to come home, I was like, I got to find an audiobook to listen to. And as I was going through the choices, that was the first book that popped up from the library. And I said, let me just go ahead and pick this book. And it was her book, It's All Downhill from Here.
Yeah.
And I had about a 2-hour ride, 2.5-hour ride. And when I got home, I said, okay, I'm done with this book. I didn't finish it. I just went ahead. I just needed to listen to something during my ride, but I wasn't engaged enough or connected to the characters enough to want to finish the audiobook. Maybe at some point, but it just wasn't for me at this particular moment. But I do agree that her earlier works were really good.
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tammy?
Let's see. I don't have any more physical copies, but I have a list So let's see. I'm a short story person, so I'm gonna go with J. California Cooper.
Woohoo!
Homemade Love. I could not
Yes.
find my copy, but oh my goodness. Yeah, Homemade Love.
I have.
I couldn't find. Oh yes,
The
yes.
future has
The
a
future
past.
has a past. Yes. There's I couldn't find my copy. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
reading this now, actually.
Oh, are you? Yeah. It's
Well, I
excellent.
read all her books, like, back in the early 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
late 90s, but I decided to revisit her whole catalog.
Mm-hmm.
So last month or the month before, I read Some Love, Some Pain, Sometimes.
Time, yes.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I love those stories.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
J.
good.
California Cooper is just wonderful short stories. Wonderful. Just one of my favorites, really, when it comes to short stories.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I love J. California Cooper. And again, my stack. I might take a minute to run and get my stacks, but keep talking.
Let's see.
Teresa, what you got for us?
I have Tina McElroy answer. Baby of the family.
Baby of the family. Oh.
I used to have Ugly Ways. I don't have a copy anymore. I remember liking that book and thinking, what a mess. But
Yeah.
I like her books.
Mm-hmm.
Again, all of these books we read back in the 90s and the early 2000s, it's making me want to revisit them and read them again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And she has another one called, and I couldn't find it. I thought I had. She had. Do you remember what is it called? Where she's falls in love with a ghost or something.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do know what you're talking about.
I love that one too, and I thought I had a copy of that one, but
think of
maybe
the
I got
name
rid of
it.
Raymond.
I wonder if that's the book I have over there. Y'all talk, and I know this is unprofessional as the host. I have to go
That's okay.
And find my stack. Let me see
What
if
is
I've
the
got
name
that
of that
book.
book?
Y'all chit chat with the people in the
Let's see.
Raymond,
did you know that one?
I know I said Raymond. Raymond's our resident researcher. He
Yes.
always looks up the books. Oh, what is that book called? I can see the cover just as good.
And it was about her falling in love with a ghost?
Yes. And it
was it The Hand I Fan With?
Yes.
Yes, The Hand I Fan With.
That's what it is. The Hand I Fan With. I could have sworn I still had my copy, but I can't find it. So I may have gotten rid of it. But that's the one I'm talking about because I want to say it's a sequel of sorts to this
to that one.
I want to say the baby of the family is the main character when she's grown.
Yeah, that's the other Tina McElroy answer that I have over there, baby in the family.
Yeah, The Hand I Fan With. That's
The Hand I Fan With. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
1996. Yeah.
In love with the ghost.
And she wrote a love scene and everything.
Here's the villain that I was going to show.
Yes, Mama, I used to have those.
And here are my J. California Coopers.
Yes. The Wake of the Wind. I think I have the other one.
The Matter is Life.
Yeah.
I love it. And then the one that makes everybody cry. Family.
I'm going to read that one again because I don't remember that much from it.
My mother was not a reader at all. Until later on in life, she started reading. And I handed her that book. And I said, Mama, just try to read something. I said, you're going to love this lady, J. California Cooper. Just read this book. And when I got it back from her, I said, well, how'd you like it? She said, I cried. And I never cried, but I cried. I was like, oh. And then she started reading a little bit more after that. But, J. California Cooper just has that effect on you because
it does.
Her stories are just so warm and so heart-touching. And those people are real.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
She's great. I love her. So,
Mhm.
Tammy, who else is on your list?
My list. I'm gonna go with a man, Omar Tyree.
Yep.
Yes.
Fly Girl and Sweet St. Louis. And yeah,
And
and
the
Do
Do
Right
Right
Man.
Man.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Capital City.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
think
do
I
right
let
man.
somebody borrow my Fly Girl, or I
Me
donated it
too.
to charity or something, but I
Yeah.
couldn't
Okay.
find it, so
Yeah.
I had to give it
Yeah.
away. But
Yeah. And I
I
left
did
my
keep
Soul
this
St. Louis
one.
at my mother's. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, I had to read them from St. Louis, so I had to read Soul St. Louis. So yeah, I like Omar Tyree. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was on my list too. Fly Girl and Capital City, and I used to own both. I used to own all these books that we talking about, and I just had to get rid of them due to
Yeah.
lack of space over the years.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You got another guy? I know we all got the same other guy.
Yeah, other guy, of course.
You know we got him.
I
Well,
know you.
Legion.
I tell you, but Elin Harris.
Yes,
I
had him.
still, I
Yep.
still think about Yancey to this day. I was working in a medical bookstore, and I read those books while I was on break.
She still have all her books.
I still, and I met him once, and he signed a book from one of my friends. But
Oh, you know
yes,
what?
oh yeah, years ago, yeah, I used to go to. They used to have, used to be a lot of book signings years ago.
I think I went to a book signing with him. I can't
Years
You
ago.
just remember what was that? I feel like he came to one of my jobs for a book.
Mhm.
Oh,
It
now
was a book sign years ago. He was wonderful. Oh my
he
goodness.
was.
Oh, he was so nice and wonderful. And I tell you, I still think about Yancey. I still think about Yancey. Yeah.
Yes, I love Elin. I don't have Just As I Am. I have about 7 or 8 of his books. I
Mhm.
guess I don't know how many, maybe more than that. But this is the first one, Invisible
Mhm.
Life.
Mhm.
Oh, you got the hardcover.
Yeah, she got the hardcover. I see. Yeah. All
If
right
this-
now.
If This World Were Mine.
If This World Were Mine.
I used to
Yeah.
have that.
Abide With Me.
Yes.
I have that one.
Yeah.
And Just As I Am, I don't have a copy of that one, but
Mhm.
I have more of his books, but these 3 I checked were all published before
Yeah.
2000. So
Mhm.
I think I wrote down 5K. I wrote down Invisible Life, Just As I Am, and This Too Shall Pass, If This World Were Mine, and Abide With Me. All of those were 94, 95, 97, 98, and 99.
Mhm.
So we read a lot of Elin Harris in the 90s.
Crystal said he shook her socks.
Yeah.
He shook my socks too, Crystal.
He shook mine too.
Mine too. He opened me up to a world I had absolutely
Never
no
seen.
clue
Yeah.
about.
I
I was
was
like, thank you for this lesson.
Yes.
Because when I was dating, it made me start asking different questions.
Yes, it did.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So thank you, Elin, for that gift. Okay, so Tammy, who else is on your list?
I have BB Moore Campbell.
Oh,
Brothers and Sisters.
Yes.
Yes.
BB Moore
Campbell's, and
I was
your blues
racking
ain't
my
like
brain
mine.
trying to remember her name and could not.
Yes, BB Moore
Yeah.
Campbell. I just think of warmth. I just think of and great storytelling. You don't run across that too often. Great storytelling.
Yeah.
Warmth. That's what I think of, BB Moore Campbell.
So you named BB Moore Campbell. The one I did remember was Connie Briscoe.
Yes.
Woo,
Yes. Yes.
Wait a minute.
I had to get rid of mine. Yes.
Yeah, I had to get rid of mine too. I had all these books, and I'm so sad.
I got rid of mine. But Connie Briscoe.
I wrote down Sisters and Lovers.
Yes, Sisters and Lovers.
Big Girls Don't Cry.
Big Girls Don't Cry.
Mm-hmm. Listen, Naomi, what? That book was so good. That book was so good. This one is A Long Way From
Home. Mm-hmm. That was good too.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Right here. I don't even know. I need to read this again.
Yeah.
This book, I just remember loving it so much. I think I've read it twice, but yeah, Connie Briscoe. Oh, and here is
Big Girls Don't Cry. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where do you all store these books? I just don't have room.
I had to get rid
I
of
don't
mine because
have
I didn't
room. I
have.
don't.
Yeah, over the
We
years.
have to talk about that.
I got books behind me. I got books on the table. Oh my God. Yes, that's true.
So
she is. Yeah, she is.
How
yes,
about
thank you for sharing that about BB Moore Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved her work.
Me
I
too.
really, really did. And when she
Mm-hmm.
passed away, I was just
Me
so
too.
sad about it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she was a phenomenal author.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have room for all these books. It's I mean, but what I know, even though I wouldn't be able to sit here and tell somebody what all of these books were about,
Mm-hmm.
really, because it was so many years ago that I read them. I still can remember being so connected to them that I
Me
didn't
too.
get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I don't know about y'all, but I have shuffled books out of this house.
Mm-hmm.
Yard sales, donating to
Me too.
charities, Goodwill,
Me too.
whatever. But these books have meant
Mm-hmm.
something. So that's how I
Mm-hmm.
know
That's how
that's
I.
a
Yeah. That's
really
how I
good
know.
book because I kept
Mm-hmm.
it. Okay, Teresa, what you got?
okay? So I found two that I still held on to. Um, Lolita Files.
Mm.
Yes, I love Lolita
Mm.
Files.
Okay.
Yes.
Taste
Um,
like
Mhm.
chicken and get into the good part. I remember
Yes.
loving these
mm.
and I want to read them again. So I held on to these, but I held on to so many. And then years would go past. And then I would be like, okay, I got to get rid of some. Who is it going to be? And then I got rid of some more. So, yeah, it's just a few more of hers that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed her. Lolita Files came. These two were 90 what? What did I write down? Oh, and Scenes from a Sister. 97, 99.
99. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
then for
what's the one with the hand on the cover? Because I've got the book sitting right over there. God, what is it?
I know what you're talking about.
Why am I drawing a blank?
Mm.
The book is I could see it sitting right over there on my shelf.
Let's see if they got.
I know somebody in the chat knows the book.
Mm-mm.
Let me see. Lolita Files, Child of God.
Child of God.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I was thinking it had God and something else in it together. Okay, so
Yeah, somebody's talking about
the
tumbling.
man that I know we all have on our list is.
Yes, let me go ahead and get this book. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I don't have it, but go ahead. I know you're talking about.
Eric Jerome.
No, I'm Dickie. He on my list.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the first one, right? Sister.
This one's Friends and
Friends
Lovers.
and Lovers. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay, Sister was first in 96, then Friends and Lovers in 97, and then Milk in My Coffee,
Milk in My Coffee,
98, and then Cheaters, 99. Those were his first four that we all were reading at the same time.
Yeah.
Here's my Cheaters. I don't know what happened to my cover. Who knows? But that's Cheaters.
Yes, I remember Diane McKinney West too. She did dancing
and tumbling. Dancing. I can't think of it.
It was blues dancing because I kind of
blues dancing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Tammy.
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I think I mentioned everybody. I have a couple of. I know you're talking about contemporary fiction, but I have a couple of.
No, I said contemporary fiction and more. So
okay.
Go right ahead.
I'm gonna go with Jill Nelson. Volunteer Slavery from 1994 and Straight No Chaser, How I Became a Grown-Up Black Woman in 1997.
Wait a minute. Now, who is that?
Oh, y'all don't know Jill Nelson? Oh, she was I think she wrote for a newspaper. Her father was a dentist. She grew up in Martha's Vineyard. And she wrote Volunteer Slavery. It's it has a big black and red cover. I read that in college in 1994. And Straight No Chaser. How I Became a Grown-Up Black Woman from 1997.
That sounds
Oh.
familiar to me.
Black cover. She's on the cover. She has pretty gray hair. Volunteers, My Authentic Negro Experience by Jill Nelson. That is a beautiful book.
I need to write that down.
Yeah, I need to read that. It's beautiful. I think it tells about her life. Is beautiful. Beautiful book. Jill Nelson she's the truth. Jill Nelson she stirs it up, and I love it. I loved it.
And both of these are nonfiction.
Both of these are nonfiction. And one of them, that Volunteer Slavery is more like, like an autobiography, a memoir type. Beautiful. I love Jill Nelson. Love Jill Nelson.
I hadn't heard of her.
And she wrote another book about a fiction book, and then she wrote another book about Martha's Vineyard, growing up in the vineyard. Well, going there, I think, every summer. Not growing up there. I think she grew up in New York, but they would go there every summer. I think her father was a dentist. So she talked about the Black elite. I loved it.
Oh, that sounds interesting. I ain't heard of her.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got her name in the chat, so we'll be able to go back and look at this. Okay, Teresa, what you got?
I got Rosalind McMillan.
Oh,
Knowing came out in 96, and Blue Collar Blues came out in 98.
I remember that.
You remember those? And I remember when she first came out, everybody was like, is this Terry McMillan's sister? Is this her sister? He was like, no. But those were really good. That's a book that I loaned out and never got back. And I was sad about it because Knowing was really good. I'm going to revisit all these books because y'all got me going down memory lane.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I know.
I may not remember all the details, but I remember enjoying them when I read them. And I also have
Before you go there, so Hugh Woodson is asking us about Walter Mosley. You know, Hugh, when I was going through and gathering books in this house, what you don't know is I don't have the patience to go through all these books in this house. So I know I have Mosley, but I don't know what year it is, and I can't even remember which Mosley book I have. What about you, ladies? Do you have any Mosley?
I tried. Lord knows I did.
Yeah, he was.
I didn't.
think I have I feel like I might have a Kindle book of Devil in a Blue Dress. I read Devil in a Blue Dress, and the next one I think was called White Butterfly, maybe. Yeah, and I started going down but
I
want to revisit his because I don't know, maybe the timing wasn't right.
That's what I was thinking.
I didn't love them, but I didn't hate them either.
Yeah, I didn't love them or hate them. And mystery, I tried. And he had one, Little Green. That's kind of more in the last few years. I just couldn't. I tried though, but I couldn't. Maybe I could revisit. I don't know. I tried. I just couldn't get with it. I couldn't get with it.
Okay. So Teresa, what were you going to show us?
Oh, I was going to mention, do y'all remember Trying to Sleep in the Bed You Made?
You mean this one?
Yes, that one.
I'm not going to have anything to show because y'all didn't mention all the books I had. Yes. Trying to Sleep in the Bed You Made by Virginia DeBerry and Donna. Yes.
That book was good.
Yes.
Any youngins in the chat, y'all need to read that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the first book I read by a dual author.
Oh, dual.
And I was like, how do you do that? How do you, like, I write some, you write some, I write some, and then the story just kind of meshes. But yeah, that was a good one. I think I could reread that one.
I think I have 3 or 4 of their books, and I met them. I was at an event, and Charlotte didn't know they were going to be there. Walked in, and I'm looking, and I said, "Oh, they're selling books over there." So Beeline, right? And I said, "Oh my God, it's Virginia DeBerry and Donna Grant." Oh, so I was able to take pictures with them and get my book signed and everything. I was fangirling all over the place because of this book right here. I loved it so much. I do want to go back and read this book again. That was such an error,
Yes.
when those
It
books were
was.
coming out. It really, really was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got another one, Teresa?
I do. One of the really popular ones that came out at the end of the 90s, that people are still reading to this day, was The Coldest Winter Ever.
Ever, yeah.
Now, when I read that back in 99,
Mm-hmm.
2000, whenever I read it,
Mm-hmm.
I was much younger. And I remember loving the book. I thought it was so realistic. I mean, growing up in the late 80s, that subject matter hit home because living in the DC metro area, that drug game was huge down, So I love that book. But then when I revisited it, not so much.
Not so much.
It,
Yeah.
That's
it
why I
doesn't
would not.
age
I would
well.
not reread it.
Yeah.
I will not reread the book for that reason. I
Yeah.
just know that if I read it again, it's going to kill the nostalgia.
Yep.
And
That's what happened to me. It doesn't hold up well as a reread because it's yeah. So I just wanted to bring that one out there. And another one I wanted to mention before we go back to Tammy was The Maintenance Man.
Oh,
by Michael Baisden.
By Michael Baisden.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was when that phrase first kind of hit, like when everybody started referring to them as the maintenance man. I got to get me a maintenance man.
That's true.
Yes. Oh, I remember that. I sure do. Yeah.
Man.
His other book was what? Men Cry in the Dark.
Men to Cry in the Dark.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy.
Oh my goodness. You took us back. You took me back.
Uh-huh. Yes. Okay, Tammy, what you got?
I'm not sure if it was published after 2000, but it still stuck with me to this day. Asha Bandalay, The Prisoner's Wife.
Yes. Yes.
I loved it. It gave just a portrayal of what it's like to be, in love with somebody in prison. And she has a book that later on about their daughter growing up, taking care of their daughter as a single mother. But I love Asha Bandalay's The Prisoner's Wife. It still stick with some books just stick with you.
Yeah.
And that one it still sticks with me to this day. That one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Teresa?
Let's see. How about Addicted by Zane? 1998.
Look, I'll be saying so. I hate to interrupt, but I gotta tell you, I read that book in the beauty shop. In one day, I sat in the beauty shop and I read half of it in the beauty shop and half of it at home. And my mother would come to visit me, and I would throw those books away. My mother, church mother, I would throw those books away because I didn't want her to see me read, look at my bookshelf and say, "What is that?"
Yeah.
So yeah.
That one kind of shook me too because I had never read anything like that either. And I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
Me too.
Yeah, me too. I was like, "What is this?"
And I remember it was one of those books that everybody was passing around, like, "Oh my
They
God,
were.
did you read Addicted? Did you read Addicted?" So yeah, I didn't watch the movie though. Remember they made a movie of that?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I watched the movie. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I watched the movie. I liked the movie. But reading it, as a younger woman, it shook me up. It shook me up. Yeah. I threw it away.
How the world has changed, because for a lot of people today, addicted would be like nothing. They'd be like, But back then in the 90s,
I
think we were all in our 20s back then.
Yeah, we were.
And we weren't used to reading anything like that back then. That was really something. Yeah. Yeah. I think I gave my Addicted away. I think I had several Zane books. I think I only kept one.
Yeah.
Just for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah. Once I read Addicted, man, I was like, wow, okay, let me read this one. So I started going down all the books and I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I grew up a church girl, so I had to get rid of those. When my mother came to visit, I got rid of them books.
Yeah, you better not have them books on
You
your.
not had no books out. I read them though.
Listen, I
Mm.
I know.
Ooh.
And see, the good thing is I had so many books that it was hidden. It looked like wallpaper to my mother, so she didn't know what was on the shelves. It was just a bunch of
Right.
books, a bunch of
See,
books.
my mother was nosy, so oh
She
no,
gonna say,
no.
"What's
Mm-mm.
this?"
Still to
And
this
pull
day,
it off and
no.
open it.
Oh no, she was just want to know what they was about.
Listen, my mother came to stay with me for a while. I was taking care of her, and she came to stay here. And I said, "Well, Mama, you can't stay here with me and not read a book." So I was pulling out the holy book. I was pulling out the church based fiction, like the Rashonda Tate
Yeah, Rashante
Billingsley.
Billingsley. Yeah.
You know, here, Mama, you can read this one. Let the church say Amen. You can read this one. And even though they weren't so pure, the characters and all of that,
Right.
I just knew that I could leave her with that book and she'd
Mhm.
be okay.
Mhm.
Some of the other stuff, I was like, nah, you
No,
ain't
you
ready
can't read that. Yeah.
for that. Okay, let me show one. Now,
Okay.
I'm a Mary Stan, okay? But this is my favorite Mary Monroe book,
Probably the same as my favorite. Yep.
The
But
Upper
Mm.
that didn't come
I've
out in
never.
the 90s, or did it?
Yes, it did. I
Mm.
was looking because I wanted to make sure. I said, where was this published? And right here, it says copyright 1985 by Mary
Mm.
Monroe.
Mm.
And I said, what?
What?
So
I
it was
thought that
before.
book was published in like 2001 or something. Maybe I
Well,
just read it in 2001.
but yeah, I love this one. This is one
Mhm.
of the messiest books I've ever read. Mama Ruby was
Crazy.
Yeah.
crazy. She was larger than life, quite
Mhm.
unbelievable, but
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I used to keep this book in my desk at work, and my coworkers said, "Why every time I come in this office, you reading that book?" I said, "Because I love this book. I
I'm gonna
absolutely
Mm.
reread
love
that. I
it."
have
And if you haven't,
I've never read, I've read other Mary Monroe, but not
okay,
that
so let
one.
me tell you what the Upper Room is about, real quick. So, Mama Ruby
I know Mama
has
Ruby.
some issues. Okay,
Mhm.
so she is helping her best friend birth a baby in the middle of a storm. The baby doesn't make it, but the baby does. She don't tell her best friend that. And Mama
Oh,
Ruby and her son kidnap the baby and run off to Florida.
oh my
And she
goodness.
raises the baby as her own.
Oh my.
It's just a wild
yeah.
ride.
It's
Okay.
good.
I absolutely love all the mess and foolishness in that book.
I think
Okay.
that was the
So,
first Mary Monroe one I read, and I was addicted. And I think I went down a rabbit hole with her. Remember, God don't like ugly
Ugly.
and all of that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
you mean that
Yep.
one?
Yes.
Mhm.
Now I'm cheating because this one was not pre-2K, but I
Mhm.
had to show it.
Mhm.
Yes.
Had to show
Yes.
it. God
Yeah, you
don't
should
like
read that
ugly.
one, Tammy. That one, the
Yeah,
upper room is really
I'm
good.
right. Yeah, I'm gonna write it down. Yeah, I will.
And another one I'm going to cheat a little bit with because it says it was published in 2000, but again, because of the nostalgia factor, I
Mhm.
had to mention this one.
Mhm.
Casting the First Stone by
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
so she's on
yeah.
my list. Kimberly,
Yeah,
yes.
she's on. Yeah.
But the only one
Yeah.
I wrote down was Behind Closed Doors. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
I have several of hers as
Her
well.
her newer ones were good. Those like little novellas,
Mhm.
Copycat.
Yes,
A couple. Yeah,
Copycat.
The
Copycat was
whole
really good.
Reverend Black series.
Yeah, the whole Reverend Black series. Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorite books by her was, I think it was called The Perfect Marriage, or it's something like that. I think it's not it's either The Perfect Marriage or The Perfect Couple. It's one of those. It's not
Hmm.
a part of the Curtis Black series, but it
Mm-hmm.
was a fantastic novel.
Yeah.
And I
She has a
said,
lot.
She has a lot. She
I
does.
really loved her standalone novels.
Yeah,
I
me too.
really did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like her novellas. Yep, her
Hmm.
small ones. Hmm.
I have another book here by Shaneska Jackson, and this was called
Hmm.
Blessings.
I read, and
Oh,
I used to have
that's
that very edition.
mm-hmm.
I remember
Yeah.
that. There, and is that the name of the hair salon.
Yes, Blessings is the
Mhm.
name of the
Name
hair
of the hair
salon,
salon.
and there were three women who were dealing with children and reproduction in different stages. One was trying to raise a daughter as a single mom. One was trying to get pregnant, and one had terminated her pregnancy. I believe that's right. And or adopt. Yeah, one was trying to adopt. One is trying artificial insemination. Um, one's a single mother, or maybe they're four women. I don't know. Maybe they're four. But anyway, wait a minute. Yeah, yeah. But
Mhm.
Blessings is the name of the hair salon where she
They
has
meet. Yeah, I
this book.
remember that. I
But she
remember.
had two other books at the time of this writing, Caught Up in the Rapture
Yep.
and Little Mama's Rules. Yep.
Yep,
You
I
remember
remember
that one?
those.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
I
remember
read
Little
those.
all of
Mama's Rules.
those.
I
Mm.
remember working in a call center and people passing around books like this, at
Yeah,
work.
they
It's
Hmm.
like,
did.
okay,
Yeah.
well, I got this one. You read this, you read that. And,
Mm-hmm.
and Little Mama's Rules was one of those
Those
books
books they passed
being
around. Yeah, I remember that.
passed around. Yep. And Raymond, thank you. It was called The
The
Perfect
man.
Marriage by Kimberly Lawson Roby. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Nikki Dunlap says, hey, what about Pearl Cleave?
Yes.
Yes. What looks
She's
like
on
Yes.
there
crazy
on
on an
the shelf.
ordinary day. Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't pull all my books off my shelf. I'm going to have a hard enough time putting all these back. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, that is one. It's over
Oh,
there.
I forgot
Yeah.
about that. I love that book.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. She has a book from a few years ago, I think 2014.
Hmm.
I think it's her journal entries.
Oh,
Similar to the book that's coming out by Alice Walker this month. I believe it's her journal entries, and it's really good. I read that. It was Pearl Cleese. It was really good.
interesting.
I think it's similar to that on that thing. Yeah.
Pearl has another one called Red Dress, I believe.
Oh,
And remember the cover had the lady with the red dress on
Yes.
it.
yes. I remember that book. I can't remember.
That
Raymond,
Pearl
find the
Cleese.
name of that book.
Yeah, but that one, what looks like crazy. I don't know why I didn't think of that because I feel like I read that maybe 2-3 years ago.
And I have that one too. I just don't know where,
I
but I
thought I
have
had
it.
it too, but I'm like UK.
Yeah.
I can't. I was like, I can't even find all the books I was going to talk
That's,
about. And I know I
I
got time.
started. I wish I had a red dress. Thank you, Nikki.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I
Wish I
had
had
a
a red
dress.
dress.
Yeah, there were so many books I could have pulled off the shelf, but I said I no.
Yeah. And
Well,
her other one is from 2014. Things I should have told my daughter: lies, lessons, and love affairs.
oh.
Very good. Yeah, I read it. I have it actually. Yeah, it's good.
Now this book I'm going to show is not fiction, but it is a true life story. And I remember I read it years and years ago, and I cried. I think the first time I read it because this of the content of abuse and the bad mistakes this young girl was making, and knowing it was a real life story just really tore up my nerves. And I actually did a review on this on my YouTube channel, and her daughter saw the video. I don't know how,
Oh,
but she saw the
wow.
video and she commented under the video, and I can't remember exactly what she said. Like, it it wasn't negative,
Mm-hmm.
what she said, but I just remember her daughter commenting, and I was like, wow. I don't even know how they found that, but they did.
Mm-hmm.
But this story, if you have read and you really liked The Darkest Child,
Mm-hmm.
read this one. It is called Gal by Ruthie
Oh,
By
Bolton.
Ruthie Bolton.
I've seen that book before.
I've seen
I
it
haven't
too.
read it.
I haven't read it.
It's heartbreaking. It's very touching, but it's a good one. And this is the kind of book that you can read in a weekend. So if you're doing like a readathon and you need something,
Mm-hmm.
you want to read quickly, you'll get into that one real fast, and it is a quick read. The next one that I want to show is actually three books in one. because I could not show The Color Purple, right? But this copy that I have is The Third Life of Grange Copeland, Meridian, and
Mm-hmm.
The Color Purple
Oh, all together.
all together. Yeah.
Mm.
And what's funny is I have never read the other two books.
Oh.
I've never read the other two, but The Color Purple, most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I think I read Meridian back in college, but I don't remember if I finished it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was around the time I think I discovered like Alice Walker and Toni Morrison
Mm-hmm.
pretty close to the same time. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
thinking, okay, their writing is really deep.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to be in a certain mind frame. I don't remember if I finished Meridian, but I definitely plan to revisit all of Alice Walker's, just like I'm revisiting all of Toni Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool that you have all three in one book.
Yeah, all three in one. Mm-hmm.
And you notice I didn't bring out my Mother Toni books. Listen.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't.
she's
I
my
didn't.
favorite.
Yeah,
I'm reading jazz right now.
I've got several of them on the shelf.
Mm.
If we're going to talk about Mother Toni, just from memory, The Bluest Eye was my favorite, and then Song of Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I remember listening to Jazz and Sula years ago on audio, like from my library, I think. And it was so old, I can't remember. They were either on cassette or CD. I don't even remember which one. But it was years and years ago. Because I can remember very distinctly being in the kitchen washing dishes, listening to jazz. Um, but her books are tough for me.
Mm-hmm.
They're very challenging. Um, I haven't, like, some of them I DNF'd. Others I didn't even attempt.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'm thinking maybe I'll revisit some of those books at some
Mm-hmm.
point. I recently bought copies of Beloved. I actually bought it twice. I didn't mean to,
Mm-hmm.
but I ended up getting 2 copies of Beloved. I have Love or Mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tough.
Oh yeah.
I found a copy of A Mercy, the first edition, in that same used bookstore.
Oh.
I haven't read A Mercy. I'm currently reading Jazz. It's my first time.
Mm-hmm.
I've done rereads of The Bluest Eye, Sula, Song of
Mm-hmm.
Solomon, Tar Baby. I read Beloved for the first time last year, I think it was. I don't know. So Toni Morrison is definitely challenging, but I feel like there's not a code, but it's like I had a light bulb moment reading one of her books, and I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it wasn't challenging anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, what phrase I read. I know I did like Tar Baby, Sula, Song of Solomon. I think I did all three of those last year with the audio books. Like I was following along in the book while listening. And I don't know, at some point I had a light bulb moment, and I used to be intimidated to read Beloved because I thought it was going to be so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And when I read it, so easy, I breezed right through it. So I'm definitely going to read that one again because I've only read that one once.
I haven't tried Beloved yet. So Hugh Woodson has a question. Is there a comedy, or should I say funny, book you read? Back in the day, Hugh, there was an author, I think his name was Van Whitfield, and he wrote a series of books, not series, but he wrote several books. And to me, they were funny. One of them was about a beeper. What was that? Oh, I can't think of the name of it.
Oh yeah, let me think. Van Whitfield, I forgot.
Yeah.
I don't
But
remember.
he had several books that I thought were kind of funny.
You know,
They were about dating
funny?
and relationships.
I think Carl Weber's books are
Carl
funny.
Weber books, yeah.
Yeah, I think Carl cracks me up.
Yeah, Carl Weber books are funny. I think Mary Monroe books are kind of funny. Those
Yeah,
newer
I think
ones,
so too.
I think they're funny. I think Mary Monroe's books are funny.
I do. I do too.
Mhm.
I got to meet Carl Weber when I have a couple of autograph books from him. And yes, going to his author signing, he was hilarious.
Mhm.
He was really funny. Eric Jerome Dickey, I don't know if any of you have seen him, but
I
he
have.
was he's
Yeah, he was kind of shy.
yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of shy. This is,
Mhm.
a few years ago, but he was kind of shy. He did sign my book. Yeah, but he was kind of shy. Yeah.
Beeperless remote.
Yes.
Yes.
I knew there was something about a beeper. Yeah.
Yeah, people is remote.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so nostalgic. Yes, I had that book
Mhm.
and I read it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Yes. So here's another one. Her Sister Betty series. Um
Those I haven't read
I
those.
think I might have listened to one of her Sister Betty books.
Hmm.
Sister Betty at the church, and she's like always into something, from what I understand. But yeah, I think I've listened to one of hers.
Yeah. We didn't mention Entozaki Shange. I liked Betsy Brown.
I'm laughing because I started some Sing Some Cry
Yeah.
last year for Black History Month,
Uh-huh.
and I'm still halfway through it.
Okay. Oh my.
I wrote it down on my list, but I haven't picked it up.
Yeah. Read Betsy Brown. Read that shorter. About a little girl growing up in St. Louis, of course, because that's what she was. Tozaki Shange was from St. Louis. So yeah, I like Betsy Brown. Yeah, I
Okay.
want to read the Sassafras, Cypress, and Indigo. I think that's on my list for the summer. I usually pick out books I read for the summer reading club. So I want
You
to read
know
that.
what we didn't mention that everybody's been reading lately from the 90s? Um, Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower
Oh
and
yeah.
the Parable of
Again,
Talents. I have
yeah.
Parable of Sower. I don't know where it is. I couldn't find it. I haven't read it yet, but I plan to read it and I don't know.
Mine is back there in that back room on one of those
Mm-hmm.
shelves, and I saw it, but again, I couldn't drag all my books off the shelf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes, we have to mention Octavia
Octavia
Butler.
Butler. Yeah.
Kindred,
Kindred. Yeah.
yeah, that one. Yep, got that
Mm-hmm.
one over there. I was trying to think of some others, without having to get up and go through the stacks.
Let's see. Do I have anything else on my list?
Trying to think. There's just so many good books out there from that era. When you think
Mm-hmm.
about the 90s era of books, so many good ones. And then, of course, those written before in the 80s and
Mm-hmm.
beyond. But yeah, that 90s era, there's just something so wonderful about that burst of energy, I would say, in literature
Yeah.
and what was churning out. And I think that's where a lot of us, especially who are in our 50s today, where a lot of us really delved into reading again because it
Mm-hmm.
became exciting again.
Yes, it did. That's true.
For a while, I don't know about you, but for a while I felt there was kind of a lull.
It was.
But then,
Mm-hmm.
like you said earlier, when Terry burst on the scene, well, Terry's
Mm-hmm.
books came out a little before that, but when Waiting as Hell became really popular, it
Mm-hmm.
just seemed like everything was churning out. And then Black Expressions Book Club
Oh
came out.
yeah.
Yes.
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 Most of the books I have came from Black
Black
Expressions.
expressions.
And
I
Mm-hmm.
that's where I
forgot
learned
about
about so
that.
many of
Mm-hmm.
these authors. For those of you who may not know what Black Expressions Book Club is,
Mm-hmm.
it started out as a mail order catalog.
Yes, it did.
Y'all,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about this in another live. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
the Columbia House where you could buy 10
Mm-hmm.
CDs for 10 cents.
Mm-hmm.
But with
Mm-hmm.
Black Expressions Book Club,
Mm-hmm.
they would send you a catalog and a postcard, another postcard that had two books. You could either
Mm-hmm.
choose that you wanted them to send you the books or you didn't want them to send you the
Right.
books. Or you
Mm-hmm.
would pick the books that you did want out of the catalog, send your postcard in,
Yeah.
and then they would ship you your books. Now, this is all before the internet, okay?
Yes.
Yes.
So if you forgot to mail that postcard in, you would turn around and you'd be like, I didn't order this.
Yes. Yep.
Right.
But you read the books anyway
Yeah.
because you had paid for them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then before I knew it, I was collecting all these books by all of these authors I had never heard of, but it helped me to really fall in love with reading again. It rejuvenated my reading spirit, I guess you would say. And so then they converted to online. I remember that. And you go online, and now I was just clicking like crazy.
Yeah, click the books. Yeah. I remember that.
I actually kept some of those catalogs. Child, they somewhere in here. But actually, I actually kept some of those catalogs just for, again, nostalgia's sake. I have, do y'all remember they had a Black Expressions journal that they had come out with? I still have my Black Expressions journal. Yes. And it was just a time. It was just really a time. Bernice, let's see. I learned about Victoria Christopher Murray, McFadden, Pearl Cleage, and all those great authors through Black Expressions. Way back in the day, you know, in those catalogs, I was going through because they stopped when, like, the mid 2000s.
I think so. Yeah,
something like that. Somebody said, Nikki,
I
still owe the money.
Don't feel bad, Nikki. I probably still owe.
Yeah, me too. I probably do
too. Some CDs, and it was another one, Columbia House and BMG, maybe.
With the with CDs, yeah.
Yeah, I probably still owe them some money. Don't feel bad.
Hugh, they are not. I think they were bought out by one of the a larger company, and they discontinued the Black Expressions brand. Raymond has a link here. Remembering from Book Rock. Yeah. Ladies, do you have any other books that you want to share before we wrap up this evening? Or anyone in the chat, if you want to drop down any authors or books that we may have failed to mention?
Yeah, I have one. I'm not sure if it was published after 2000. Denise Nicholas, Freshwater Road. She was an actress on. She was in a lot of things, but she was on In the Heat of the Night.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Denise Nicholas, Freshwater Road, and the actor on there, Carol O'Connor, who was the chief of police on In the Heat of the Night. I saw her speak, and he helped publish her book. Yeah, she told us that he helped to publish her book. So it's I don't think she wrote anything else, but it was a wonderful book about a young girl from the University of Michigan who went down to the South doing the start of Freedom School. During that time. It's Freshwater Road. It's an excellent book. Yeah.
Teresa, did you have any more?
I think this one was probably prior to the 90s, but I think my first time reading it probably was about either 88, 89, and that's The Women of Brewster Place.
Oh yeah,
by Gloria Naylor.
Yeah, and then like fell down that rabbit hole of loving all of Gloria Naylor's books. I have Gorilla My Love. I haven't read all of that one yet. That's short stories. What else do I want to talk about? I wrote my list. We went through my whole list. So
yeah, mine too. Yeah.
I think I'm good. But I'm so happy you invited. This was fun.
I was going to say
it again.
Yeah, thank you.
I was going to say, I was, again, like I said, I wanted to have people come on who I felt would really love and appreciate this particular topic. And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, who can I invite? And I said, Tammy's a librarian. Tammy, follows Black Readers Con too. And so let me ask Tammy. And I said, oh, Teresa, we did the Buzz Read with Their Eyes Are Watching
Mhm.
God. So I know she likes
Mhm.
some old school books. And so
Mhm.
I thought you two would be perfect guests for this evening, and you were. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, Summer had to take a day off today. She was celebrating her son's birthday. So, and you two were the best company. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone who joined in the chat tonight, and for look up the books that we mentioned tonight, that
Mhm.
we showed tonight. If you have not read any of them, go back and read them. They are
Mhm.
excellent. I always say books don't have an expiration date.
That's
Nope.
true. Nope, they
Whenever
don't.
you come
That's true.
upon a book, read it. Doesn't matter when it
Mhm.
was published, doesn't
Mhm.
matter how long ago, read the
Mhm.
book. So, to
Mhm.
take care of a little bit of housekeeping before we go, this is Black Readers Con, and Black Readers Con will have a conference this year, both virtually and in person in New York,
Mhm.
October 28th through the 30th. So please follow Black Readers Con
Mhm.
across all social media so that you can be alerted to information about the conference and all of the live events taking place across social media on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You could come back and watch this video again here on the Black Readers Con Facebook page or on YouTube, whichever one you're watching on
Mhm.
right now. And ladies, let me ask you, do you have anything else you would like to mention? Because I do have a couple more things.
No, just thank you for having me. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you
Yeah.
inviting me to my
Yeah.
Yay.
first live. This was so
Yeah, it's my
exciting.
first one. Yeah.
Hmm.
Y'all were great. Y'all were
Thank
great.
you.
So next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to have our mid-month discussion on Yellow Wife by Sadiqa Johnson. We have some great participants in the discussion next week, so everyone please tune in.
Mhm.
Also, on April 23rd, we're going to have a recognition of National Poetry Month, where
Okay.
several of us are going to come on and we're going to talk about the poets we love and
Mhm.
read some poetry, share some poetry books with
Oh,
you.
Whoa, that's me
On
nice.
April 30th, we're going to have a ladies' night poetry slam.
Oh,
Ooh,
whoa,
that's
okay.
really not going to be in a slam format, so to speak. We're going to have several ladies come on and share
Mhm.
their poetry with us. So
Oh, that'd be
that's
nice.
going to be fun, and I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to that. So, ladies, again, thank you so much. Thank you for everyone who joined us this evening. We're so glad that you were here with
Mhm.
us. Thank you for sharing the books for all of you in the chat who helped me out since my partner's not here tonight. Trying to moderate and run the show
Mhm.
at the same time can
Mhm.
be a little
Mhm.
tricky, but I had a great time. Thank you
Mhm.
all. And so, to our viewing audience, I will say good night.
Good
good
night. Good night.
night.
Mm.